Hello, Internet, and welcome to Say Report Jr., a podcast you should be listening to, subscribe to, and downloading every week. I am one of your host companions, Zach Sarowick.
And I'm your other host companion, Dale Ducker.
The next thing we have to nail down is whether we go with co-host or host companion. Definitely swap that every week.
This is true. Do we? Yeah, we do, huh?
Yep, pretty much.
I mean, it's like essentially the same thing, right? Co-host.
It is.
Host
I think
companion?
for some reason, co-host sounds like someone is a host and someone's a co-host, and
Exactly.
therefore someone is lesser. But I feel like if we both go with co-host, what does that matter?
Yeah, it's like each of us thinks we're the host, or each of us think we're the co-host.
Each of us thinks we're just following the other one, which explains a lot because there's a lot of times where we both go, "What are you doing?" Because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
what are
exactly.
you doing? I'm doing this.
just going off of each other. Yeah, it works.
Speaking of which, how has your week been?
It's been good.
Aside from dying, from the sounds of it.
Yeah, no, it's been good. It came down with some bronchitis. Didn't know it was bronchitis until Monday. So that's fun. It felt like bronchitis though, like the other day. So I'm like, yeah, it's
just like in your soul.
just
So
a
it's a little voice in your head,
it's
a little
just a matter of
SpongeBob
fact.
in your brain. It's like it's bronchitis, you idiot.
Yeah. So hopefully I don't laugh like too much and just start coughing during this. Because that's
I don't
the
think I'm a
worst.
particularly funny co-host, so I'm sure that'll not happen.
Yeah,
oh, there we go. As I make you laugh right there.
I'm sure it will never happen. Oh my god.
God.
Other
that was a
than
bad
that,
instinct.
other than that, what have I? I don't know if there's anything been like groundbreaking at all. I mean, I saw Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Yes, the worst named movie ever for kids.
Yep.
Yep.
It was actually really good. I was pleasantly surprised. I was kind of nervous for it.
Were you a fan of the original Wreck-It Ralph?
Yeah.
So it was just general sequel fare.
Yeah.
that you were going to.
Of like, are you just gonna do the same jokes? Is it gonna be a completely new story? Like, where are you gonna take it?
Is this just the Emoji Movie all over again?
Yeah. So, which if it's just the Emoji Movie, I'm happy. But no, so I was very pleasantly surprised. And I recommend everybody go see it. So hopefully you get to go see it, and then we can have a discussion about it because I got some stuff to talk about.
Cool.
And yeah, other than that, nothing.
Nope, nothing at all.
Nothing
at all. Let me tell you
nothing at
about
all.
Tucson. Let me tell you about Tucson and my 3-hour drive to Tucson. Minute by minute, we're going to have a 3-hour podcast. Well, I tell you, I guess 6
I'm so
hours because I had to
excited.
drive back.
Yeah, because we literally have nothing to talk about.
Yeah,
So,
so really, actually, there's only two important things to talk about too. I was driving a friend to the airport. She was going to Seattle to see her sister. I offered to drive because I was like, I haven't been out of town in a month. Please give me something to do. So, we're on the road. We're driving to Tucson, and that requires going out of town from Silver to another town called Lordsburg, which, if anybody is a fan of Stagecoach, Lordsburg is the town they're trying to get to.
Yeah.
That's my big fan. It's my big fun thing to say is like, oh, I live in forgot his name.
John Ford?
Yeah,
John Wayne?
Thank
Which
you.
one?
Nope, John Ford.
John Ford.
And John Wayne. John Wayne is also in the John Ford movie Stagecoach.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anybody's a big John Ford fan,
Love him.
they're on the Wells Fargo the Stagecoach to Lordsburg in that movie.
I took a whole class on John Ford.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
That was one of the first movies I ever saw out here at the local theater that they redid. Is they did a showing of Stagecoach.
That movie is so good on so many levels.
Including the very, very drunk doctor.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that movie is I love them. I could watch it right now.
But yeah, so we're on our own Stagecoach ride to Lordsburg, then turns onto the interstate. And so at the same time, technically, even though it's a holiday week, the store is open. Campus is closed, store is open, which means that what that literally means is we need to hang around for a couple of hours. So when FedEx shows up, we can open the door. So left my friend, who's assistant manager in charge, and he starts calling every 10 minutes because he can't remember half the passwords he needs to get into the stuff. So So we're pulling up to this. I want to get this picture right. So as you're coming out of Lordsburg and turning onto Interstate 10, there's basically it's like an underpass to do it because there's a railroad track above. You're kind of going down, and then there's a turnoff, a very quick turnoff onto Interstate 10, or you can keep going straight through. And there's like a big green, sign to
Yeah.
tell you that. So as I'm on the phone with my friend at work to kind of explain what's going on there, all of a sudden the friend in the car with me, Tara, lifts her hand, and I just see her hand go up, and she's pointing at something, and she says something, but I assume she's saying, oh, there's the turnoff.
Yeah.
Don't lose the turnoff because you're on the phone and not paying attention. And but to be fair, on speakerphone, everybody, hands free. I was driving responsibly, but I could understand why she would think I might miss it if I
Yeah.
was also conversation. So I'm like, yeah, I see it, and I'm kind of doing this, and we're like half breaking up on the phone here, so like I can only get half my sentences out, and her hand still waving, and again she says something, and I'm like, yeah, I see the sign, I'm gonna turn, and the next thing I know, a tumbleweed that is twice the size of one of my car tires comes rolling out into the road. This thing is like taller than the hood of my car, like just comes kind of bouncing into the road, and I just at the 30 miles an hour as I'm taking the corner, right into it, right into the thing. I
Oh.
shred it. It was right into the car.
Oh my
And then
god.
Tara just starts bursting out laughing, and I've got Eric on the phone trying to ask what the hell's going on. I'm laughing now because of that. I'm trying to turn onto the interstate at the same time.
Well, yeah. That.
And then I go out and I looked at my car this morning, and there's still shreds of this thing in my grill. Like,
That's fantastic.
but like nothing says, oh yeah, by the way, you're in the Southwest, like you're trying to turn onto an interstate, and a tumbleweed comes bouncing in front of you.
Oh my god. That's awesome. That is.
Oh
I've always
man.
wanted to see a tumbleweed.
Like
Like,
they're real. That's
that.
not a
Yeah.
thing that like went away because we paved the desert. Like tumbleweeds still exist,
Mhm.
and sometimes they bounce along the highway and Denny's parking lots. One of the first times I ever drove out when I first came out here, and I stopped at a place to get food on my way into town. I pulled into a Denny's parking lot, got out, and a tumbleweed was bouncing across the parking lot,
That's
and that
amazing.
was the moment I went, oh, I'm definitely not home
Yep.
anymore.
Yep. Reference.
So, oh man.
That's
So yeah,
that's awesome. That's
it's just the
that's a
fact that
great story.
I just like in my peripheral, just a finger going up, and someone what she was screaming was tumbleweed, tumbleweed. Hey, watch out for the
Yeah.
tumbleweed, and I was not hearing any of that. Oh man.
That's
So
so good.
so then I drop her off at the airport, and her flight's already been delayed twice
Oh.
since by the time we were like driving out there. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go get lunch. I'm gonna go get a drink. You text me if like your flight gets canceled, but I'm gonna be in town for a couple of hours before you go. Just let me know.
Yeah.
I go to a truck stop, and I get one of the best pulled pork sandwiches I've ever had at a truck stop in Tucson, which was great. But then I go after that, and I was like, I'm gonna stop for a drink somewhere. Pull up Google Maps. There's literally a thing that says where the locals drink, which I have to assume will never actually show up on Google Maps. Like I just assume when it says that, it's like, oh, like this is what like some magazine said was a great place to go get a drink, and probably it's the most tourist trappy place ever or something. So I pull up with this bar that says, it's only 5 minutes away, and it's called the Buggy Wheel.
Oh my god.
It's called the Buggy Wheel, and the pictures of it are there's like people in like college, like ASU college shirts and stuff like that, and the place is like, okay, sure, that looks like a great place, mind you. And I forgot this part before I got there. It is 1 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon. So I pull up to this place, and there's two cars in the parking lot,
Oh my god.
one of which I assume was the bartender's. I walk in. There's four people in there.
Oh my god.
There's the bartender. There's older guy just kind of wandering around talking to everybody, and there's these two women playing pool. Okay, sit down, order a drink. Looking at what's on tap, there's of the five taps up there, three of them were Bud Light,
Okay.
and a
All
couple of
right.
couple of other ones. And I was like, I picked one that just I was like, I'm sure 805 is fairly common to most people, but I I drink my usual bar. Their entire thing is that it's like, oh, craft beers
Yeah.
from New Mexico, and we don't have anything from out of state. So everything I usually drink is first off $3 more than I spent there, and spent at the Buggy Wheel, and also like I don't know what are like regular beers anymore.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll have the 805, and she looked at me, and then she looked at the taps, and then looked at me again, and then looked at the taps again, and it was like she never heard anybody order that before, and she was like, "What the hell are you talking? Oh wait,
What?
there's a tap there with
Yeah.
that name on it. I'll give you that."
That's weird. It feels like you
It
walked
felt
into like a video game
it
saloon.
seriously felt like she didn't actually
Like,
work there. What it felt like was like I immediately had this reaction of like, oh, this is like if I snuck behind the bar set someday and was
yeah,
like, and then someone came in and ordered, and I had to pretend like I worked here suddenly.
yeah.
Like,
It's like
it
you're
was
walking. It's like you're walking into some strange like. Oh, what am I trying to? Oh, have you seen Hateful Eight?
yes,
Okay, so you know how like there's all this stuff going on beforehand and then they arrive? It's
yeah.
like there was all this stuff going on
It
and then
really
you
was like I.
arrived and they were like we need to act like we're a normal pub. And
It really felt like they had gone like it's Tuesday at 1 o'clock and this is our time. What are you
yeah.
doing here? Drinking at 1 p.m. on a
Oh
Tuesday.
my god.
And I was like,
This is our
I'm not,
time. This is
and
our
so I
time
just
up
like
here.
appeared and I drank and then I left. It's like I
Nice.
feel
No conversation with
no
anyone.
convers. Nope.
The old
They had
guy didn't
conversations
come over.
around me. No, but the old guy was like every now and then the old guy would say something to either the bartender or the girls playing pool and be like, "Well, I'm gonna go over to there now," and start to walk out, and they'd turn around and be like, "Wait, where are you going?" He's like, "Well, I'm gonna walk there." It's like, "No, don't walk. We'll drive you." "No, I'm gonna walk." And it's like, "No, it's too hot. Don't go there." It's also like this is the other thing is it went from I start driving at 8 a.m. and it's 30 degrees here in Silver, and by the time I get to Tucson, it's 80 degrees.
Oh wow.
So,
That's a
ugh,
change. Wow.
the Southwest, everybody. But like, it was like this weird thing where it's just like there was definitely all of this stuff going on around me, and I had no context for any of it.
That's crazy. That's kind of awesome though.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I'm glad I got to experience this, but also I will not be having another drink. I am now driving home, and I got in the car. And I
No,
left.
no more buggy wagon.
Nope,
Buggy
no
wagon.
more buggy wheel.
Buggy
No
wheel.
more of the buggy wheel for you. At the same time, I left that place and I sat in the car, and in 2 seconds, I thought, if I lived in Tucson, I think I'd drink here every day.
Oh yeah. Like yeah. If I lived in Tucson, I would drink there every
It was
day.
just like I could not. I was like, I like this isn't real. There's nothing real going on around me.
Yeah, no. If it's not there,
Look, even like there
if
was
it,
even a moment where they were futzing with the TV because it was staticky.
oh my
They
god.
have all these
Just
TVs up because it was advertised as a sports bar. So there's a bunch of like flat screens up, and one of the flat screens, like, and looked like when I say staticky, I don't mean like digital static. Like it wasn't like a digital signal was going out. It looked like an
like
old
snow.
yeah. It
Yeah.
looked like snow. It looked like a standard definition antenna old school
Yeah.
TV
That's
was like
oh my
losing its
god.
signal, and I was like, I didn't even know they could do that.
I would
I didn't know a flat screen could do that.
yeah.
And he's sitting there, the
Yeah.
old guy's sitting there on the plasma screen, tapping it like it's an old TV. Like, I don't know what's going on with this thing. It's just like, and the bartender's like, yeah, I started doing that a couple days ago. We don't know what's going on. Probably have to just go get a new one. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
No.
I was like, is this real? What is this? What is this
100%.
universe I've driven into?
If that place is still there, like when you go back, if you go in that direction,
Oh, I got a strong feeling that this is the type of place that
I-
they would call an institution and has probably been there since, well, probably the days of John Ford.
I'm just saying, I would not be surprised if one day it's just not there and you like it was just like
It was like a dream.
it was a dream or some alien spaceship and they were like, this is how we survive in Tucson.
And then the only other thing I did this week, because,
God.
like we said, there's not that much to talk
Yeah,
about.
no.
He said after speaking for 20 minutes on a bar in Tucson. The other
just
thing
our
that
bar.
happened was She-Ra came out
Yes,
last week.
yes.
Actually premiered. I think did I mention this last week? or did we record early? I can't remember.
You might have mentioned it. I think we've
I
mentioned
might have
Shira
mentioned. I mentioned
before.
it. Yeah, I mentioned it
Yeah.
because it dropped like 3 days early. It was supposed to come out
Yes.
last Friday, and then last Tuesday, all of a sudden, Netflix was like, "She-Ra's out, everybody." I was like, "Okay," so I watched it,
Yeah.
and it took me 2 days because I couldn't stop. It it's great.
Yeah.
It's really fantastic. Um, the the person that like did the like show running for the new one and like really developed it for Netflix, Noelle Stevenson, did a comic run called
Mhm.
Lumberjanes a few years back,
Yeah.
which was like a bunch of girls at a scout camp have supernatural like Gravity Falls esque adventures, which was like really critically acclaimed. So she got Shira, and this very much feels like one of the first shows that a huge fan of Avatar, the cartoon show, got to make a TV show, because
Yeah.
it really feels like a spiritual like universe with Avatar,
Yeah,
like
that's
same type
cool.
of like humor and really big positivity on top of like there's some dark storytelling stuff that they balance it out with, but it's not like grim dark, it's not like
Mm.
gritty angry dark. It is just like really good storytelling
Yeah.
that ultimately is like a very positive and optimistic show. Like I really like that.
Yeah, no, I forgot that it was coming out and I didn't know the date. So and then it just started being everywhere.
Yeah, like all of a
Um
sudden it was like, oh, by the way, She-Ra's out.
Yep.
Yay!
Yeah. So I haven't gotten to watch it yet, but I am like
Oh
eagerly
man,
going
there's
to.
there,
Um Eagerly
her
awaiting.
archer friend is named Bo, like
Awesome.
just Bow, Bo,
That's fantastic.
like, and is very much like Sokka. Like it's like someone was like, let's take Sokka
Make him an
and just
archer.
and make him an archer,
That's awesome. That's
and
our
just oh god,
that makes me even more excited.
and there's like a ship captain who's like just like he's got like the pencil thin mustache, and
Hmm.
he does like sea shanties, and then like all of the girls like this. The other thing about this is it's very, how do I put this? It's very subtly gay.
Yeah.
It's the best way to put it. Noelle Stevenson is part of the LGBT community,
Hmm.
and a lot of the writers and animators and stuff on it are as well. And so like they don't ever like, it is one of the few shows where they don't it,
Explicitly like
they don't
say
have
anything.
they don't explicitly say, and they don't make it like a big, it's not
Deal.
like
Yeah.
plot line. It
Yeah.
is not like, this is not like a coming out story that ultimately ends in someone dying, or
Hmm.
like some sort of big like thing where it's like we like the most important story in a gay person's life is when they come out or anything like that. It's like, no, it's just that you get a strong feeling that half of the characters in this have all dated in some form or another.
Yeah. See,
And
that's
it's like,
cool though.
and it's done, yeah, no, it's done like
Like,
really well. It's like if you get, if this is like, if this is what happens when you give a very positive group of people
hmm
the money and the time to just develop a story they want to tell, rather than be like, hey, we've got this like really tragic story to tell, you want to do it because gay? Like, no, no, I don't want to do that. I want to just tell a story. I want to tell a story where it feels like part of the reason the two main characters, like the main protagonist and antagonist, have such a hard time like dealing with each other is
is
because they
because
were probably dating at some
hmm
point, and
yeah.
neither of them wants to talk about it anymore.
Yeah. that's
uh,
that's really really cool though. Like,
there's like a prom-esque episode where there's like a montage of all of them getting their outfits together,
mm,
where it's like, and like the two of the characters, where it's like if two goth lesbian girlfriends get to like get to go to a store and just have like a montage of outfits they're trying out before they go, or one of them's in a suit, and then the other one is like, what about this dress, what about this suit, what about
hmm
this dress here, what about this one? It's like, oh, it's so fun to watch.
that's cool. That's great.
uh
Yeah. Now I'm excited. I mean, I was excited to watch Shira just because of the other like cartoon creators who I follow who have been talking about it, like Darren Nefsey of the who created Star vs. The Forces of Evil. Like she was tweeting about it, and even Dragon Prince, the guys behind
right.
Dragon Prince, like they were putting up on their Instagram like drawings of Dragon Prince and Shira characters like interacting with each other. So I'm like, so this is like, like everybody is having fun with Shira,
Oh,
and
oh
I
yeah.
want to enjoy that fun as well.
Oh my God, yes.
So
And just like in like, I think I texted, I think I not texted, I think I tweeted with you. There's this one character that's just called Entrapta, that is like very much a scientist
mm,
and like runs around on her hair. Like her hair
Oh,
is just like a
nice.
second set of arms for her. But
Nice.
there's this one moment where she goes, "I've been waiting for years to someone to ask me about my theories," and she gets so excited. And all I
Oh
can think
my
is like, well,
god.
that's like the entire tagline to Say Report Jr.
Yep.
It's like I've been waiting for years for someone to ask me about this.
Yep.
Hold on, let me go off for 2 hours.
Fantastic. Yeah. No, I'm
Oh
excited.
man.
I gotta watch it.
So yes, everybody check out Shira, and I think the other thing that came to mind was Titans is like better than I thought it would be
Oh
from DC
yeah.
Universe, but I'm going to talk about that probably next
I
week.
need to
I want
try
to see the
and
episode that comes up, but
I need to try and watch an episode, and then
if
I
there's a
want to talk
way,
about that. Yeah.
yeah. Well, see, here's the thing.
But I don't know if I
I wouldn't
can.
do, yeah, I wouldn't do just one episode is the problem.
Oh, okay.
So here's the thing. Um, yeah, if you can get like a 7-day trial or something, I don't know what the trial options are for DC Universe,
Yeah.
but any option that gets you to be able to watch at least the first like 4 or 5 episodes of Titans is what I would suggest, because it's almost like it starts off as the like gritty, angry DCEU,
Yeah.
like screw all this, everything's dark and gray and blah blah blah. But and then the fourth episode rolls around, and in the fourth episode, the Doom Patrol shows up, who are going to get their own series eventually. But you have one of the characters is voiced by Brendan Fraser,
Oh my god.
who is going to be like, and when there's like a whole thing where like his body was like his body was badly mangled in a car accident, and so they turned him into a robot man. And so I don't know who's actually doing the like body work, but Brendan Fraser's the voice, and then theoretically in flashbacks they would do Brendan Fraser acting,
Yeah.
and then Matt Bomber
Oh.
is also one of the characters,
Oh.
who is introduced. He's completely covered in bandages. He's playing Negative Man. He's got this whole thing with like negative dark energy or something. I don't know enough about the character to actually talk much
So
about his
you mean
background.
like kind
but,
of like
like,
Mr. Negative?
Kind of, but like he's wrapped up like the Invisible
crazy.
Man. Like if he like it's like if he's unwrapped, he's either super ugly or like something bad will
Or
happen
just
if like,
energy?
there's just like pure energy or something. But they introduce
Interesting.
him making breakfast and singing and dancing and just like bouncing around this kitchen in a way that like literally the 3 episodes leading up to it, it feels like a completely different show got slammed into this show.
Wow.
And it's all of a sudden, and there's like 2 or 3 episodes after that now, and ever since that episode it almost feels like someone went, you guys realize that DC is goofy as shit, right? Like an executive walked in a room somewhere and went, guys, look at DC. Like, really look at DC Comics. Really think about it for a second. Batman has a bad guy named Calendar Man. We cannot keep doing this like dark, gritty shit. It's obviously not working. Can we please introduce some levity?
Yeah. Oh my
And
god.
ever since that episode, it's like all of a sudden Titans is all about Dick Grayson as Robin, like trying to get away from being Robin, which is a big thing during like when Teen Titans became a thing, the DC Comics. And so Jason Todd is the other Robin right now, and like Jason Todd just showed up, and he's kind of a little shit, he's kind of annoying, but like all of a sudden it's like, oh, we had to make really. It's like if Robin they were trying to make Robin into like the Batman from Batman versus Superman, and then they made Jason Todd show up and be like, dude, stop, no, hold on, no, stop.
That's awesome.
You have to like be like have like you've got friends, shut up.
You're
And
not-
so like
Oh,
I like to think that this was done on purpose. Like someone was like, we're gonna plan out this whole first season of Titans as this is the DCEU as you know it, and it's kind of gray and dingy and crappy, and very slowly we're just gonna keep introducing more and more kind of goofier stuff in, and like lighthearted stuff to be like, oh yeah, see, you've got like lightheartedness and levity and people coming in and making your life brighter and happier. And all of a sudden it's like it's a nicer show all of a sudden.
Yeah. Oh, my
Oh man. So yes, if you can get
That's-
again, I feel like originally there was like a 7-day trial. I don't know if that's still running now that it's kind of up and going, but if there was a 7-day trial, I would suggest trying to sign up for that and at least watching, like I said, like the first half of the season is out now. I think it's a 13 season show, and I think episode 7 is out this week. So like there's like it's definitely worth giving it a shot. It's just like just know that the first like 2 or 3 episodes are kind of eh,
Weird.
because
Yeah.
they're like introducing characters and it's still in that kind of gritty bullshit area. But like the thing that got me through the first 2 or 3 episodes is actually Raven's story,
Okay.
because like Robin's story is basically Batman's story, which is I'm really upset that I'm a superhero for some reason. He was like, I was raised by Batman and it really screwed me up, and there's all these psychological problems I have for it now. Meh, meh, meh. And then Raven's story is like, well, I'm possessed by a demon and my mom was trying to keep me away from a cult that's trying to
Yep.
that was trying to kill me. And all of a sudden it's like, well, that's kind of weird. But that's exciting because like but just
I want to know more about you.
right. It's like that's much more interesting though.
Yeah.
Like you have a much more
Exactly.
interesting story than just grumpy detective
Yeah.
that Dick Grayson's playing right now.
Jeez.
It's also another thing is like I don't understand how Dick Grayson gets to do what he gets to do because he's like a Detroit detective,
Yeah.
and for some reason he gets to just fucking disappear from his job for like days at a time to do whatever the hell he wants and like
Uh,
no questions it whatsoever.
he's just down with the cold again. He
He's
just
just like
had he
he's
just
just like
had like a
leaves.
virus.
Not even that. He's like calling work about stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, let me give you this information
Oh
for this
my
completely out
god.
of
Out of
jurisdiction,
nowhere.
unsanctioned thing you're doing."
Jeez. All right. Well,
uh,
I'll have to try and check it out.
but that's it. That's the week, everybody. I got
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, it's
There's
a
nothing else going on.
real short episode this week. Yeah, I mean,
Oh wait, what's this? I've got a tiny yellow rat
oh,
coming up to me.
oh yeah.
Got a tiny little brown
There's
dog.
like a brown dog cat coming up to me. That's crazy.
They're wearing adorable outfits.
I
This one's
know.
wearing a bowler and
Oh.
glasses and a tie.
Hey boy. Hey boy.
I'm not doing Pikachu. I don't have I do have a Jigglypuff, but that's just terrifying. It's terrifying from everybody.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's terrifying from everybody.
I almost just fell asleep. That was so yes, obviously we are taking a turn and we are going now we are going to discuss, I could not get the words out. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. Or
Oh my
Pikachu
God,
and Eevee.
Best Pokemon game to come out in 20 years. I'm so happy with this game.
It
Oh my God.
oh
As someone who has played, so here's the thing. I've been playing Pokemon Yellow. I have been
yes.
Nuzlocking Fire Red, which was
Yes.
after however many attempts in other Fire Red and Leaf Green versions. I have played this specific version of this game many times
Yeah.
this year, and yet I can't stop playing this game.
Yeah, no. It's so good. And I was talking to a friend from high school, like, reached out to me who I have not talked to this person in like 7 years. And we had like one of the longest conversations we've ever had, even throughout high school, about Pokemon. And he was like, "Yeah, this is the Pokemon. Like ever since I was a kid, this is the Pokemon that I've wanted." And I'm like, "Yeah." And again, even for me, as a person who started with X and Y, everything that I thought about Pokemon and like everything that I wanted out of Pokemon is now here. Like, it's cool that I can throw a Pokeball. It is cool that you don't really have HMs anymore. Like, you don't have
Oh my
to
God, thank you
teach.
so much for that.
Like,
Oh my God.
like, it's cool
And
that
that TMs are not a one-use item,
yes,
which
like
I think came up. Did that come up? That came up in Sun and Moon,
that
right?
did
That
come
was
out
one of
in
those
Sun
things.
Moon. Yeah,
And
it might have came up earlier, but it definitely happened in Sun and Moon where you could like
the
you could
TMs were just a thing that you could
yes,
use
and
on whoever. Yeah.
and you could forget them. So like before you couldn't forget a TM or an HM or whatever if you taught it to a Pokemon. It'd be like, no, like you can't, but you can now forget them and change them out for other moves. Which is
I
cool.
did as I was like running through I was running through the TMs the other day, and I taught one to, I don't even remember who, but I taught one to someone, and then as I got to the bottom of the list, I was like, actually, I like this more, and I overrode one that they literally had for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I was like, this is great. I
Yeah,
can just customize everything.
This game is really customizable
Oh.
and really malleable too. Like, yeah, I don't know. If for anybody who doesn't know what Pokemon Let's Go is,
we're talking about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee that just came out.
This game is basically a remake of Pokemon Yellow
yeah,
slash
story-wise,
Brown.
definitely.
Which I need to just say it. There was one time when I was like learning about Pokemon. My friend Joe was explaining Pokemon Yellow to me, and he joked about, because of how much I loved Eevee, he joked about how like this mythical, whatever, Pokemon Brown, like what if there was a Pokemon Brown? And we just had this whole conversation about it, and then it basically happened. Like this, we basically now have Pokemon Yellow and Pokemon Brown, where you get the Eevee
Oh
instead
my
of just
god! And it sits on
Pikachu,
your head
and it sits on
while
my
you
head,
walk
and
around.
it makes me so happy. And my Eevee right now looks like a little mobster, and I love him.
Mine just looks like a nerd. Mine looks like a nerd in a ska band.
With a
When you put
Diglett
Pikachu,
hat, with like,
yeah, oh yeah, I've got the Diglett hat too, but I put him back in the bowler. But even with the actually no, what I did was I put him in the sports hat,
fantastic.
but then the suit jacket, and then I put the same outfit on, so we match.
Oh my god. That's cute too, that you can match your
Oh man.
Pokemon. This game is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And I'm
And like
so
they
happy.
they did make some story changes, which I found really interesting. Like your rival is not like a rival anymore. It's just a
Yeah,
friend.
it's just your friend. Yep.
It's just your friend who also lives in town with you and is going to go off and be a Pokemon master with you. Because then even the rival from the old games shows up randomly
Yeah.
just to be like, oh yeah, no, I'm Professor Oak's grandson, and I've just come to say some sort of exposition and
Yep.
then leave. Like, not even mean. They're not even really that mean in this one either.
Yeah, you like run into him twice so far. So both of us, we were discussing this earlier, just to give a lay of the land. Both of us have the first 4 gym badges.
Yes, I've gotten a little bit further than you after that because I've gone through. After the 4th
You,
gym, you also have to do the
Pokemon
rest of
Tower.
Pokemon Tower,
Yep.
which involves the game corner, which actually, that's one of the things that threw me off at first.
Mhm.
So again, like I said, they've done some story changing,
Mhm.
and a lot of that has to do with, especially new players. One of the big things they wanted to do was take the huge Pokemon Go fan base and bring it into the Pokemon RPG world.
Yep.
And so, which is why wild battles have basically been replaced with you playing Pokemon Go
Yeah.
in this game. But one of the other things they did is that theoretically, if you were playing this game for the first time ever, this actually kind of explains what you need to do way better than Pokemon Red,
Oh
Blue, and
yeah.
Yellow or Fire Red and Leaf Green ever did.
Yeah.
Because it actually has like characters show up at some point and be like, hey, let me show you the next place to go.
Mhm.
The problem is, again, I have been playing this game like all year, and so I didn't think I needed that. So like I come out of and this is where we get a little esoteric, everybody. I come out of Rock Tunnel into Lavender Town, and I immediately went, I don't need to do anything in Lavender Town yet because I can't. I'm gonna go to Celadon, and
Yeah.
I walked away.
Oh
The problem
really?
is that they have restructured it. You have to do those first couple of floors of Pokemon Tower now in order to trigger the Game Corner Team Rocket stuff in Celadon.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, you can't move forward. So I jumped ahead. Like I was like skipped Lavender Town. I talked to people. I just didn't go into Pokemon Tower.
Mhm.
And I talked to all the people in town, and then I was like, I know for a fact I have to go do the Game Corner stuff to get the scope and everything to get through the tower. I'm just gonna go do that.
Yeah.
And so like I do the gym, and so I go into the games corner and I talk to a few people who are like, oh, there's a secret button behind the poster and all that. It's like, okay, cool. Now I have that info. And the guy wouldn't move. The guy in games corner wouldn't move for me to do to press the button and
Yep.
go downstairs. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll go do the gym and maybe he'll move. I go and I do Celadon gym and come back. Guy still doesn't move. Like, what the hell is going on? And eventually I just gave up and Googled it. And I was like, what am I missing here? And they're like, oh, you have to go up
Yeah.
because the only way for Jesse and
James.
James to trigger coming over here
Mhm.
and being the people who are supposed to replace him. Because every time he talked to him, he's like, oh, I had partners who were supposed to show up, but they never did. It's like, okay. So I opened Saffron City.
Is it a Team Rocket person who's blocking
Right.
the way?
Yeah, and he's just standing in
Yeah.
front of the poster. And the problem is, unless you trigger all the Cubone stuff
Yeah.
in Pokemon Tower, Jesse and James never leave Lavender Town to go over and take over for the guy in the game corner to then trigger all of the Team Rocket stuff to go get the Silph Scope and go back and do the rest of Pokemon Tower.
Okay.
So,
So I have a question about
yes.
that. When you did that, were there Team Rocket people in Celadon?
There's
Because
Yes,
there were
there's one house where there's a couple of people, and that's where I got the info where a couple of them were like, well, there's definitely not a button behind the poster in there and stuff like that.
but
Yeah,
were
the
there
worst
any
the
were there
worst
any
security. Uh,
were there any in the actual town, like just in like on the
um,
walkways?
when I first walked in, which I think is still, I think that's a carryover from Yellow and Fire Red and stuff. There's one like hanging out in front of the Pokemon Center.
Yeah, okay, cool. So
Yeah,
I didn't know if that so
that
what
which doesn't trigger a fight or
Yeah,
anything. It's
no,
like
no,
just
cuz
there.
you're in a
Yeah.
city now. But so the funny thing is that last night, was it last night? Did I get it last night? I did get it last night. So last night, before I went to bed, I was like, I'm gonna beat Celadon. I'm gonna get the 4th gym badge. I just want to have 4 under my belt, before I move forward. So I had just gotten to Lavender Town earlier in the day, and I went. The cutscene happens where your rival comes and or your friend comes, and they run past you and run into the Pokemon Tower. And so I went and I did that and I fought it. I fought my rival, and then I was like, okay, well I'm leaving now because I don't know, I don't want to fight anybody, and I don't really know what's gonna happen. And there's something else I want to do. So I left and I just stopped playing the game for a little while, and then I came back to it and I was like, hey Devin, do you want to watch me beat Celadon? And he said yeah. So we go, and we're sitting, and I was like, oh, let me just go do Pokemon Tower real quickly. He's like, you don't have to. And I'm like, yeah, but I just want to see. There was a cutscene, and I think I just have to go upstairs and see something else, and it's gonna be
Right,
like
and
5 minutes.
and
And he
that's
was like,
exactly
and
yeah.
that's what you do. And he was like, no, you can't do anything. Nothing is gonna happen if you go into Pokemon Tower. And I was like, I'm doing it. I'm gonna do it because I just want to get it done. And I want to see what you if I can't do it, I want to see what you mean, because I've never played through Blue, Red,
This whole
Pokemon Yellow. Like, I
generation
haven't
of
played
yeah.
this whole generation. I've played snippets of it. Like, I've played um parts of Leaf Green. Like, is Leaf Green part of it? Yeah.
Yes.
I've played
Yep.
parts of Leaf Green. I've started Pokemon Blue. So like I know stuff about the generation, but I've never actually played it for myself. So I was like, I'm gonna go do Pokemon Tower. So I go and I do the Cubone, the very sad Cubone cutscene,
Oh
and
God.
then and then you have like
I have a
the
screenshot, but I don't want to share it until you finish Pokemon Tower of
okay.
a very good Cubone moment.
Oh, I took
So,
I've been taking videos like crazy.
I have
But
not because I
then
play with the other Joy-Con. We're gonna talk
oh
about that in a second, but
yeah, because
you,
we need to
yeah.
discuss that. Because I need to tell you about the Pokeball Plus. Anyways,
Oh, yeah.
so there's the shapeless ghosts that I can
Hmm.
only assume are haunters or whatever. And so I'm like, cool, okay, I got kicked out by one of the ghosts. Fine, okay. So then I leave Pokemon Tower, and then the Jesse and James thing happens. And as soon as it is done, Devin's like, well, that's new.
Yeah.
And I was like,
And
yeah,
that's just it.
that
That is
and
brand new.
yeah,
That's the whole thing is if
yeah.
you're someone like me and
So,
Devin who have played these before, you don't think that's
mm-hmm,
gonna happen, and you can
exactly.
walk away from it, and then you're stuck.
Yep.
You're stuck until you decide to actually figure that
Yeah.
out.
So
Oh,
I almost did what you did, and I was just like, no, I've never played this. I need to see it for myself. So it was cool. And then the whole Jesse James things happens. I go try to find the Celadon gym, which I could not find for a little while. And then I beat Erica. It was all good. But
sleepy Erica.
yep,
I just love the
sleepy,
fact that her
sleepy
whole thing
Erica.
is that she's basically got narcolepsy. Those are like,
Yeah,
I'm just talking to you and then fall asleep.
she's just so peaceful and tranquil. It's great.
uh,
Yeah. So but yeah, I have loved like the things that have carried over from the games that I've played, and specifically Sun and Moon. Like the fact that you can trade for the Alolan forms of the
so
Gen 1.
is that what that is? Because like I keep
Yeah.
running into those people and I don't want to give up my Pokemon because I like them too much, but I assumed they would be in different forms if I did
Yes.
that.
So I did it with a Rattata because I don't whatever Rattata. I feel bad that I hate on Rattata so much, but
Don't
like
you make fun of my rat baby, okay?
no, I mean I
Don't
like
you make-
Rattata. I like
They're
all
just
Pokemon.
everywhere.
They're just everywhere.
everywhere.
Exactly. So it's like, I caught one. I'm done with you. Please leave me alone. You're in my Pokedex already. Um, but so I had like two, and I walked up to a girl in a Pokemon Center, and she's like, "You want to trade my Rattata for your Rattata?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's weird. Why not?" And an Alolan Rattata came over, and I'm like, "Oh God, this is gonna be a thing." And I've gotten an Alolan Geodude, and then I tried to get an Alolan Diglett, but I didn't have an extra one, and
Did you
I
get that
need.
shiny? Did you get that shiny?
I did not get
you
that
might
shiny.
get by accident just walking around Mount Moon randomly?
No,
Oh
I
my
did not get the
God.
shiny. I
I
was
cannot
sad.
believe that happened.
Wait, what?
I'm talking about
Oh,
Paris.
you're
Not the
talking
one I
about your
texted you about,
Paris.
but
You're talking about
just
your
in general,
shiny.
just the one I found by accident. Yes, the one I.
Like, that is so cool. No, I was trying. So, I don't know if you saw the picture I shared on Facebook of my Diglett team. Yeah, I need to share this story because
Okay,
I don't know if you saw what I wrote on Facebook,
I
but
didn't.
okay. So, going into what is the Thunder badge? What is that, Jim?
Vermilion.
Thank you. So
God.
I'm about.
You just geek checked me in the middle of the geekiest conversation we've ever had.
I know.
Anyway, yes.
So I was like, I was gonna go in with just whoever I had on my team, and I think at the time it was like Eevee, Arcanine, Vulpix, Ivysaur, and there was, I don't remember. But then Devin, again, because he wanted to watch me beat the gym, he's like, you need some ground types. And I'm like, no, I don't. I got this. I don't type match. I kind of just play and wing
The
it,
only time,
and
the
I
only
usually
time I
win.
do, usually I do too. The only time I do is in a fight like that where I know a freaking Magneton or Magnemite is coming out
Yeah.
because they're such pains in the ass. The only other one is that much later, as you hit a bunch of bird keepers who have like Pharaoh and Pidgey,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, that's gonna be easy. Except that they know Roost. Roost is
Ooh.
very annoying
Ooh, yeah.
in that
Yeah.
they just keep upping their health.
Yeah, it's the
Oh.
worst. But yeah, no. So I don't really pay attention. I kind of just go in. Like my
I mean, that was a
Pokemon
pretty
are
good
usually
tight match
strong.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
My
pretty good tight match anyway because you didn't have anyone who was water. Like as long as you don't have water or birds with you, you're fine
Yeah.
in that match. Really.
I had a Butterfree with me, I think. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'll be fine. I'm just gonna go into this gym, whatever, dominate. My Eevee, who is named Reagan, is like a powerhouse. So if I get in a pickle, he's gonna take care of it. But Devin was like, no, you need, like, can you please do this for me? There's one thing I ask you. And I was like, fine, what is it? And he's like, can you just go in with a team of Diglets?
Oh my
And
God.
they'll all know. He, like, with
So
certainty.
wait, are you
with
keeping multiple Diglets with you at a time? Are you just not sending those to the professor?
Yeah, no, let me tell the story. Hold on.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
is the short answer. So Devin was like, I need you just to please just do a whole team of Diglets. So I was like, fine. And I'm like, why? And he's like, they'll all know Dig, you'll be fine. With certainty, he was like, they'll all know Dig. And I was like, okay, fine.
I mean, he's
So-
not wrong.
Yeah, no. So I go, and he's like, I'm gonna need you to catch 7 Diglets for me.
Okay. There we
And
go.
I was
Okay,
like,
there it is. Yep.
All right. So I catch I think I catch 7, and I was like, oh, now I kind of want to try and get a shiny one. So we named them. He named them. He had me name them after the 7 dwarfs.
Nice.
So the only one that I am missing, is Happy, because I want it to be the shiny. Because and this is Devin's joke as well, but because the shiny happy people hold it.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah. So anyways, so I have that. So I went in with 5 out of the 7 dwarfs. Or 5, yes, 5 out of 7 dwarves and Eevee. I'm like, yep, this is what I'm gonna do. This is fine. We're gonna see what happens. I go
Doing this weird like moment of just like you, Eevee on your head, three Diglett on one side, two on the other, walking in a really weird V formation into that gym with just power rock playing behind you.
Yeah.
Just like immigrant song, just like Thor Ragnarok, just like playing as he comes storming into
Oh
this
my god,
gym.
that'd be so good. So yeah, so I walk in and I'm like, I'm gonna take this gym. It's gonna be great. And I throw out the first Diglett, and it knows like
Oh God.
sand attack. It
Oh.
knows like
So,
all status attacks
so you forget
and
the
had
part where you
no
should
dig.
check. You forget
Yeah.
the part where you should look
Yep.
at these things.
Nope. I just trusted Devin that they would have dig. So I was
I mean,
like,
they get it
so,
eventually.
yeah. So they get it at level 19, which he forgot about later on. But so I throw in this Diglett and I'm like, it does not know dig. And I'm like, give me a second. So I scroll through all the Diglets, and none of them have. They all have Fury swipes. All of them have Fury swipes. None of them have an attacking move.
I mean,
So I was like, okay, guess this is the time for Reagan to shine. So I get through the gym. That's all good. It's fine.
so the best part
I
is that
lose
still
two
worked.
of the Diglets.
You still got through the gym,
Yes,
though. It's
on
just-
like one try, it was fine. It was good. Two of my Diglets died. You know, it had to happen so that Reagan could stay alive and get me through. And then I like posted this picture on Facebook, and because Devin's like, you need to share that story. So I post it, and and Joe comments, and he's like, you had the TM. And I forgot
God.
that you get the
I just
TM.
assumed you didn't.
I forgot that you get the TM from the guy whose house got ransacked.
Oh my God.
And so I was like,
Oh.
this was bad on all levels. Because I
Oh
could
my
have gone
God.
in with an entire Diglett team, no one dig. But nope.
Oh,
So, yeah.
man.
So,
Well, some advice for your shiny hunt, by the way.
yes.
If you, first off, Diglett Cave.
Obviously, yes.
But I forget what the actual percentages are, but your chances of catching a shiny go up the higher your chain combo is.
Yeah, so I saw that.
But that chain combo also, I think, stops at like 30. Like, I mean, like that advantage stops going up at 30.
So,
But like
the video I watched today was if
mathematically speaking,
yeah,
that,
if you go up to like a chain combo of 31,
Yes.
you'll start getting a 1 in like 400 chance, whereas like right now as it stands, it is a 1 in 4,025 chance of getting a shiny.
Yeah.
So after
And even then, that
after-
stat is all screwed up because it also doesn't, like, it's still a random number.
Yes, yeah,
So
exactly.
like, there's someone I'm watching. I told you about this.
Yes.
Laura Kate Dale, who's one of the Kotaku UK editors. I think it's Laura K Buzz on Twitter. She's doing like an all shiny run right now, where she's trying to find them, and she's like, "Yeah, I have caught 700 Growlithe, and not one of them has been shiny yet."
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, it's so that's that number, and then once you hit 11, the person who I was watching, I don't remember the YouTube channel, but it was once you hit 11, it goes down to like 1 in 2,000, and then once you hit, I think 31 or like 15 or something, there's like another number, you get like 1 in 400, and then it goes down to 1 in 300 once you hit like the 31 area. But I've seen, like, I saw a picture of a person who had like 125 chain combo. So the numbers are still all screwed up.
it's still,
but then
I mean,
there's,
it's
like-
still just like a random number generator based on those odds, and
Yeah.
that means that like
Yeah,
that's
shiny
still
hunting
those
is
odds are still those
insane.
odds. Like, yeah.
Shiny hunting is insane. This game definitely makes it easier because you can get the shiny charm, which like raises your chances even more, and you can use lures. So like this is the easiest game it seems like to get shinies.
I mean, I can tell you that
Especially-
because for the first time in 20 years, I found one randomly. So
I'll never forget my first random encounter shiny. It was a Rosalia, and I was so happy.
It was so funny because it was a Paris in like it was it was sparkly out in the overworld, so I
Yep.
ran at it and then I looked at it and I remember like it took like I'm sitting there going, I'm pretty certain this is shiny. It's a little bit darker and it was sparkly. It
Yeah.
has to be a
Yeah.
shiny
Yeah, Gen 1 shinies are so weird because a
because they're
lot
so
of
hard to tell the
well, a
difference.
lot of them it's just a darker like hue. And then there's the other ones that are clearly like a puke
Yeah,
green Ekans.
I was gonna say like or a
Like
Pidgey, like a shiny Pidgey is just like the grossest
yeah,
combination
yeah.
of yellow and green that they could put
Yeah.
together.
It's a lot of greens and yellows that just
Oh.
don't work.
So,
Um
tell me about the Pokeball. Tell
Oh,
me about
okay,
the Pokeball
yes.
thing because I've heard
So,
I want to say conflicting. Mostly, I've heard that it sucks. So, how
really?
is
Okay, so I
yeah?
actually really like it. I it it kind of hurts my hand if like
That is something I've heard.
that's
Yeah,
gonna be a complaint. Yeah, because you're like you have your hand in like a
a ball
fist.
catching
Like
tiny
yeah,
fist
like
can
you
yeah.
have your ball. You have your ball. You have your hand in a fist for the majority. And like if you're playing for a long time, your hand starts to cramp up. And I so this is we're gonna get into some weird crap and like logistics that I had to deal with when using the Pokeball Go
Okay.
plus whatever it is. When I was 5, I broke my wrist, my right wrist, and the way it healed so like if you Zach and people who are listening at home, if you go and put your hand out flat, palm side up,
Uh-huh.
right? You can do that very easily, right? I can only do it with my left hand. My right hand can only go at maybe like a 75-degree angle.
Okay.
It can't go completely flat.
Okay.
I also like other thing like other ways to like give you an idea of what I'm talking about, like how weird my wrist is. Like if you're sitting straight, like if you're just sitting and or standing and you go and you can touch your shoulders, right, with your hand. Like if you
Uh-huh.
just go from forward and just like pull it back.
I'm doing this all by the way. This
Yes, I
like
know.
I'm like I can't
I'm
like
very appreciative that you are because I can like kind of sense that you are and hoping that you are. I can only touch my left shoulder. I can't for the life of me get my hand to the point where I can touch my right hand to the point where I can touch my shoulder.
okay.
So,
Okay.
with all of that in mind, I am right-handed. Despite all of that. So, I instinctively when I open the game, I get the Pokeball out, I go to use my right hand. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. And like I start the game and my wrist immediately starts to hurt. And I'm like, I'm not this was just a waste of money. I am not going to be able to play this game with the Pokeball because I'm going to be in physical pain the entire time. So I'm like, well, let's try with the left hand. And I had to switch over to the left hand and now I have to play the game left-handed. Which like kind of makes sense because that's usually where the joystick is on a controller.
That's
So
true.
my thumb is already kind of used to having to use the joystick, but it is still incredibly uncomfortable at times because your
Yeah.
hand starts to
and that
cramp
is
up.
and that is something that Nintendo's been getting criticism for, and I think
Yes.
rightly so, is that this game is so horribly like against people with I mean just either disabilities
Yeah.
or even
Yeah.
like someone like you who just like broke your wrist at some point and now you have to deal with that. Like
Yeah.
the and as again, gonna always say this, as the person I think of the four Say Report hosts in some form or fashion that I think mostly goes as the like Nintendo fanboy in all of this. I think it's entirely fair to be like Nintendo really frigged up on this one,
Yeah.
and not just this one. Like this has been a problem with not with the Switch in general
Mhm.
since it came out. Like when Breath of the Wild came out, it really pissed off a lot of people that you can't remap the buttons
Yeah.
and the jump button is in a very obnoxious place compared to the run button and
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like they have been very and really since the Wii came out and it was like we're going to go hard on motion controls, it's like, well, you just cut out like a significant chunk of your fan
Yeah,
base who
exactly.
can't move for that.
Mhm.
So like that is entirely fair criticism of Nintendo
Yeah.
and of this game, that
Yeah.
like it's so structured around motion controls in so many ways that
Mhm.
it's so obnoxious sometimes.
Yeah, and it's yeah, to go like real quickly about the mapping, like it's cool that you can map on some games because
But
some of
it's
the
entirely game to game is the
yes,
problem. Like
exactly.
it's not a standard game.
Um yeah, no. So, but anyway, like yeah, I was super surprised that the Pokeball was small. Like it's way smaller than I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be like maybe like a
Right.
diameter
I
larger.
think
Like
like especially if you go by the anime and you go by just kind of
mhm.
like my own head canon, like my assumption was that it was about the size of a baseball or a little bit
Yes.
smaller. Like
Yeah.
that was my assumption of the size of a standard
Mhm.
Pokeball.
Yeah, but so I thought that too. Like I was like, "Oh, it's probably going to be the size of a tennis ball or a baseball or something like that." But now that I've been like using it for the last I don't know, when did it come Friday for the last couple of days?
Thursday or Friday last week.
Yeah.
I say Thursday because for me it came out at 10 o'clock on Thursday night
Yeah.
when I could digitally download
Yeah.
it.
So for the last couple of days, like it's like I think about it now, and if it was the size of a tennis ball, it would be even more uncomfortable. I feel because you would be wrapping your hand around a larger area to try and use the
To then also
joystick.
raise your thumb around.
To
Yes, yeah,
exactly,
you're
yeah.
right. You're absolutely
It
right
would
about
have
that.
so like logistically it makes sense that it's the smaller one, but there are like I mean it's a small complaint. Like it's really my only complaint with it is that my hand starts to cramp up after a while and it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be playing for this long anyways. But other than that, no, I really like the other difficult thing is like when you have to play with your Pokemon,
Oh yeah.
trying
Yeah,
to like
how does that work with the ball? Because for
yeah.
me it's just for me I mean it's just I point at the screen, or if you're playing handheld that becomes touchscreen. The whole game
Yes.
isn't touchscreen, and in fact what's really weird, what I expected when I switched to handheld at
Mhm.
some point just to kind of see, is I expected it to work like Pokemon Go, which was that like catching Pokemon would be touchscreen and you
Mm.
would like kind
You
of
would
flick your
flick it.
finger, but instead
I'm
it's
so happy
when
it's
you
not.
no,
Oh.
when you hit ready to go, when you hit ready to throw, it just becomes the gyroscope inside
Mhm.
the switch just kind of sets wherever you're standing. So like I have a tendency to pace. I have a tendency to pace for most things. And so like as I'm playing this thing in handheld mode, I'm kind of pacing back and forth. And so it's kind of nice that like if once I encounter a Pokemon, that resets every
Mhm.
time I hit ready to go. So like if I'm pacing, I only have to stop for like 2 seconds, try and do the thing, and then if that doesn't work, I can go back to walking around like
Yeah.
a fool,
Yep.
like I do.
No, yeah,
So
and I yeah. But so yeah, it's strange like trying to get the ball to go where you want it to go and where like even the hand like when you're petting the Pokemon, I've noticed that it seems like the top little button is where the sensor would be. So I just point that towards the TV
okay, yeah,
and that seems to work way better. I've also noticed that doing an underhand toss for the
absolutely.
for the Pokeball,
I figured
yeah,
that out, and I got so excited that that started working a
that
thousand
is
times better.
way
Oh my
better,
God.
way better. And it's also like think about the anime; they throw it underhand a lot of the time. Like
Hmm.
they just, or even there are some characters or sprites. I don't know what you would call them, avatars, whatever. Character designs, character builds in Pokemon, like in the games, who very like just nonchalantly will just like roll their Pokeball out of their hand. So like it's very much an underhand motion that you should be doing.
Yeah,
Um
so don't listen to that lying graphic that
yeah,
is
no.
definitely showing an overhand throw.
Yeah, no, don't. Um but yeah, no, other than that, like I do really like it. It feels like I have a Pokeball in my hand. Like I feel like I have control over it. There are some times where I get nervous that like the clicking is gonna break because it seems delicate, but that's also I think just my paranoia.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, Nintendo's always had a kind of a plasticky feel to it, which I think
yeah,
feels worse than it actually is. But it
exactly.
definitely gives you like this like psychological idea that this thing is way more
Mhm.
breakable
Mhm.
than it actually is. Because
Um,
the Wii U is like that. The Wii U feels like a giant plastic just like thing in your
yeah.
hand,
Yeah.
and it's like I could snap you over my knee if I got mad enough.
Yeah, no, and then the walking, the like take it for a stroll thing. Um, I haven't, so I haven't used that a lot, but I did like I saw what it could, the benefits of it. With Magikarp, like I put my Magikarp in the Pokeball, and then I would just like bring
Did
it
you?
with what
I have a question. I have a question because I always get curious about this. Did you buy the Magikarp or did you wait till you could catch one?
I bought it.
Okay, I did too, because I eventually got the thing that could that where you get the surfboard, the
Yeah,
fucking adorable
which
surfboard.
I haven't gotten
Um,
yet. No.
yeah, that's in future. You're getting there.
Yay.
The Safari Zone, by the way, is completely replaced by all the Pokemon Go
Pokeball.
stuff, like
Yeah, yeah.
completely
Pokemon
replaced.
Go.
So a lot of the Pokemon that you actually would get in the Safari Zone are actually just in the routes you're coming up to, like
Oh, cool.
randomly.
Okay.
And actually, I'm curious about this is whether or not you see more Eevee because you're about to hit the what used to be the bike the the bicycle road,
Yep.
which you don't get a bicycle anymore. It's just like a I forget what they call it now. It's just like trainer road or something.
Yeah.
But that route is where I started finding Eevee.
Mhm.
So by the way, I now have all three evolutions, and they are named Huey, Dewey, and Louie. So
Yes. That's
but
fantastic.
I'm curious because I know that you started seeing wild
Pikachu.
Pikachu in Viridian Forest, which I did not see. I have not seen a single Pikachu aside from trainer battles,
Oh,
which means
really?
I have not had any chance to get a Raichu at all,
Hmm.
because Pikachu refuses the Thunderstone.
Yep.
Which Eevee does that too, right? Eevee refuses
I
the.
haven't been able to test that yet.
I forget who I talked to about that, but someone mentioned a Thunderstone, and Pikachu was like a notification came up that just said Pikachu looks like she does not like that idea,
Oh.
basically.
Yeah, no. So I want to get into that. I want to finish the Pokeball
Okay.
because all I want to say is that it is cool that it can level up in the Pokeball. And it doesn't take a lot of walking because all I was doing was putting it in my backpack to work, did not take it out, and then like I would leave. Like so just the walk from the parking lot like gave it levels.
Oh my God, I don't
Um
have that option, so I have been grinding like a mother.
yeah.
Oh my
So and
God,
I've only used it with the
so much money
Magikarp.
spent on Pokeballs.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I've only used it with the Magikarp, and then, like I said, I didn't even get that many levels. I got maybe like 2. But yeah, so the Pokeball, if you can test it before buying it, do that. Because it's definitely not going to work out for everybody.
right.
That is my review of the Pokeball. I really like it though. So, so about the evolving, I want to talk about the marvelous moves.
Oh, yes. You mean the ones that the Fantastic Man and the Fantastic Coat will show
Yes,
you? Oh my God,
yes,
that man is my favorite addition to this game.
I love 'em.
So,
I love 'em. So like my question is, so do you only have like one move to choose from?
no. So what happens is, so yes, yes, I have one move, but he has shown up 3 times for me now.
Okay.
I don't know if that has he showed up more than once for you yet?
I've seen him twice.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, I only get 3 moves, but they've been 3 different types of moves.
Okay, but
So
when you talk to him, he only offers one move.
yes.
Okay. I get offered 3.
Right, because of the yes, which I
But
find very interesting.
yeah, so the first one, it was an electric, a fire, which I taught both of those to Eevee, and I thought it was a water, but there's now a part of me that thinks it might have been an ice type move, considering the second time I saw him, he had a water, dark, and psychic move.
Oh, so he's teaching you different evolution
Yeah.
options, not just the 3 from
Yup.
Gen 1.
Yeah, which because there
Interesting.
was one that had like a dark kind of name, and I was like, that's weird. I wonder what type that is. Maybe it's fire. And it was a dark type move. And I was like, whoa. Whoa. this is
Huh.
awesome. Yeah, like it's really like I'm there's probably not going to be a fairy type that he's going to teach because, well, there might be. Well, yeah, because does fairy exist in Gen 1 or is it just psychic?
I mean, theoretically, no, but
But,
one of the
like,
things that carried over is that fairy exists in this game. Like, there are fairy type moves that Chansey and Clefairy and Jigglypuff have all learned.
oh, there
That,
are?
that they have. Yes,
So
yes,
there's.
and they are considered, and their evolutions are considered fairy types. Like,
Oh,
because I've
really?
evolved,
Okay.
because I
All
found the
right.
moonstones, and I'm very happy about that.
Okay.
But
So
yes,
fairy type exists in this game.
yes, so
Okay,
they have
that's
carried
good to
because that's the
know.
thing. Because Dark type didn't exist in Gen 1 either, and
Yeah,
that's in
no.
this game as well. So they've definitely brought all of the like updated types
Yeah.
into this game when
Okay,
they
cool.
did the remake. Yeah.
That is good to know. So there's a huge possibility that I will find a grass type and a like fairy type move from him as well.
What are
Which
the
is
names of the moves you've taught, by the way? Because
so
they're freaking
so the
hilarious.
only one that I think the only two that I really remember oh wait no, three cuz I've taught all three of them is Sizzly Slide for my fire type. I think it's Bouncy Bubble for the water type that I taught it. And then I want to say the electric type is like Buzzy Buzz or something.
I,
Or, oh, wait, no, it's like Zappy. Oh, I don't remember. It's something Zappy or Buzzy.
so I've taught Pick Pick, who, by the way, I still cannot believe that the game would not let me just call her Pick. I don't know
Yeah,
why,
that's
but for some
weird.
reason, Pick was like, this is one of the words you're not allowed to use. So I don't. I should probably look up. Is that a that must be a bad word in a different language?
Maybe. I don't
Must be.
know.
But
But there's
so
Pikmin. Like, the
it's
root of
true.
Pikmin is
No, and
Pick.
it let me do Pick Pick. So
Yeah.
obviously, like I don't know what it was, but let me do the first one was Zippity Zap,
Yep, you
which
texted
is
me about that.
quick attack with electric power.
Mm-hmm.
Floaty Fall, which is a flying move,
Oh,
which she literally just raises up on a bunch of balloons and then just body slams down on the person. And then
that's amazing.
I don't remember what the water move is that I just taught her, but it's basically surf with the like electric power behind it. But it was just like, yeah, we're just gonna teach your Pikachu the weirdest like mix of shit.
That's fantastic. Yeah, is your Pikachu like scary strong?
Yes, is the
Yeah.
strongest of all of mine. Because the other thing is that every now and then someone will hand me a whole bunch of candies for them, and I feed them all to Pikachu.
Nice. Oh, okay. See, I
So
spread
like,
them out. Like I gave all the quick candies because like my
oh
team
see,
needed to be
no,
faster.
oh see, I know, I sell that shit. I sell that shit because I need money for Pokeballs. But if you continue
You
to keep
get
capture
so
the
many
same,
free Pokeballs in this. Hold on.
oh believe me, the way I play Pokemon, I need them all. I'm definitely losing money all the time
Oh
on
my
them.
god.
Because I'm still doing the thing I do with every other Pokemon game, which is I want everyone to be at the same level, which
Yeah.
means I now have 50 Pokemon I'm trying to keep at the same level.
Oh
And
my
the only way
god.
to do it, because I've run out of trainers, is to keep catching things. And so I'm using all of my Pokeballs to catch things and trying to maximize the amount of.
Oh my god.
Uh, so I sell all of that candy. I sell all of it. But if you keep catching the same Pokemon over and over and at different times during the game, they will just give you, much like Pokemon Go, they will give you like Pokemon specific candy, like Pidgey candy, Pikachu candy,
Oh wait,
Tentacool candy,
really?
all of that.
Oh wow.
Yes, you should check your candy jar. You might just have some of them because sometimes they're
Probably.
just holding it when you catch it. So like a couple of trainers in a couple of fights, they have just given me 5 Pikachu candy at a time, and so I just fed them all to her.
Huh.
And so like she's just the strongest Pokemon I have because I just keep feeding her massive amounts
Yeah.
of Pikachu candy.
Yeah, and I'm like of the mind where it's like I don't want to just use my Eevee, but like you are there as a crutch. If I need you, I know I'm using you,
She's
cause
always
she.
the first one that goes into the
Cause
rotation. She gets the most levels, and then I take her out and I
oh
raise
really?
everybody else after that.
No,
Yep.
yeah, I see. I like right now I have Ekans at the front because I want a Arbok.
Arbok.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I named her Ka.
Nice.
Yep, yep.
I named my Bulbasaur Daniel for some reason.
Oh, I named it
I don't know why,
Mead.
but
Mead. Yeah, so I have an Ivysaur named Mead.
And my Mr. Mime is just named Sal because he's just a
Yep,
dude
that
that
makes
follows me
sense.
around. It's like, have
That's
you ever had? He's just like one of those ones. So one of my favorite features of this game is the ability to just have one of those Pokemon following
yep,
you, and like Mr. Mime is just a guy who walks behind you doing the same miming action over and over,
so good.
doing that same like.
That's amazing.
But then I got like a Haunter. I got a Haunter, and it's like I've never had you follow me behind around before. Let me try that. I'm riding on top of the Haunter because it's so big.
Really? Oh, that's
Yes.
amazing.
So it's just like here's this giant ghost chasing everyone down, and just you chilling on its head, like
Yep, just another day
yeah.
in
And it
Kanto.
did the same thing. It did the same thing that Onyx did to you. I hit the button to see how it was doing, and it was like, oh, it almost lost balance. Oh no.
Yeah, the Growlithe, the Arcanine did that too, where it's
Oh
like, oh,
man.
I almost lost balance. Oh, Pepper. I named my Arcanine Pepper.
Nice.
Pepper seems all fine to carry you for a little bit longer. Pepper can carry you for as long as you want. I'm like, this is what?
I used a Firestone on my Growlithe, and so now I have an Arcanine and a Persian to ride around on.
Oh, that was. I wanted to ask you. So wait, you can catch. Oh wait, no, that
I
makes sense.
I can catch Growlithe, I can't catch Meowth. So the guy gave me Persian, and then I was able to raise a Growlithe and then use the Firestone for Arcanine. So I'm assuming for you, you can catch Meowth, but you can't catch Growlithe.
I
So
haven't
you were
seen a
given,
Growlithe. No, so
yeah.
I've
So
been.
you were probably so
So
you were given Arcanine, and you
yeah,
can raise Meowth to Persian, and then you also have those two. Okay.
yeah. So my question for you, so it's probably just version exclusive, because I was wondering, like, did he ask you which one you preferred?
He did, and I said dogs, I think. And he still gave me Persian and was
Oh,
like,
okay.
that's the right answer anyway, you dummy.
All right.
Basically.
All right, cause the I had a lady who was or a woman who was like, "Hey, do you prefer the dog-like Pokemon Growlithe or the cat-like Pokemon Meowth?" And I was like, Growlithe." And she was like, "Huh, go catch 5 Meowth then." And then I was
Yeah,
like,
no.
"Cool."
Yeah, see, when I said Growlithe, the guy was like, fine, go catch 5 of them if you love him so much.
Oh, okay.
Basically, very passive aggressively. And then when I brought them to him, he was like, now I'm going to give you this Persian because cats are better. Screw you.
Oh,
Like,
okay. Yeah, so she was like, "Oh, I'm going to give you this Arcanine." And then she was like, "Why did I have you catch all those Meowth? Cuz I wanted to see if your ideas would be changed. Doesn't look like they are. Here's an Arcanine." so,
uh,
so yeah, but basically we have talked.
that's our endorsement of the
Yep.
Pokemon Let's Go series.
Yep.
We've lost every listener at this point. I
If you've stayed on
start giving out your social security number because there's no one left.
And if you have stayed here for this long, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you didn't. You should play Pokemon if you've stayed here this long.
You should play Pokemon. You should go see Wreck-It Ralph 2. You should play. You should go watch She-Ra.
Yep.
And if you feel like wasting $7.99 on a month of DC Universe, watch the first few episodes of Titans. See what happens.
And more importantly, we should all go get ice cream, even though we haven't given our Twitter handles yet.
We'll get
But
ice cream after that.
But I just wanted to get an ice cream because we were listing stuff.
Oh, there we go. Well, someday we'll actually talk about what ice cream we like.
Yeah,
That's when
exactly.
That's when we really lose. That's when we have a week we really have no idea what to talk about.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I have nothing more. I'm sure something else will come up about Pokemon, but for right now, I am just so giddy with it and very happy.
Same here.
Yeah. Good.
So you can follow us. I just added another couple of episodes onto the YouTube channel, which is at sayreportjr. That's not at. You don't at on YouTube, which is sayreportjr. If you search it on YouTube, you can follow us on Twitter at sayreportjr. That's where they actually use the at symbol. You can follow us individually. I am at Zerwisky.
And I am at Dale's Brain.
And yes, as you said, we should all get ice cream now. And enjoy your holiday. This is obviously
Yes.
going up right before Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we
I
didn't
just remembered.
we didn't even
Oh, I
talk about
remembered something.
Thanksgiving.
No, we didn't. I'm going to tell you next week about my favorite Thanksgiving tradition after the fact. There we
Oh,
go. Don't
okay.
worry about it.
We can
Watch
do
my Twitter
that.
feed. I'm sure I will probably talk about it on my Twitter feed tomorrow.
We can
But
have we can have Thanksgiving week later.
it'll be our Thanksgiving post show.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
And that's
Tune
like
in
that.
next week.
I figured out the name of next week's episode before we have a name for this week's.
Yay!
Good night, everybody.
Take it away, Liz.
Thank you for listening to The Say Report with your hosts Dale Decker and Zach Sarowitz. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.